Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! So if you watched the video where I created the stained glass window bee junk journal cover, and I'll leave a link to that video down below as well as my bee journal playlist, so that's in the description box. I promised I would show you how I was going to install the hidden spine for our journal, and I've finally gotten the signatures together, so we're going to end up sewing in our signatures. And I ended up taking one of the signatures I had put together, I broke it apart into two and added a few more pages to it, and so we're gonna go ahead and I'm going to show you how to do this. All right, so I'm gonna set this aside for a minute. And our hidden spine piece is 1 inch wide by 9 inches long. So I cut a scrap piece of paper down to 9 by 1. And I'm gonna start by just folding it in half. I'm just gonna use my bone folder to get that folded. And then what I'm gonna do is fold each half section in half, which will let us get our signature spaced evenly. So we've got that one, and then I'll do this side. So now we've got 3 fold lines, which you probably can't see. So I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to mark those out so you can see them. And I used a dashed line because the center was just to find the center so that we could evenly space our 2 signatures. We're actually just putting 2 signatures into it, so the 2 solid lines are for the 2 signatures. Now I'm going to fold it in half this way. And half again. Let's see, yeah, I think in half again, because I'm going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I think I want a bigger gap, so I'm going to fold the bottom section in half and the top section in half, you know, to the second fold line there. So we've got that line, and that line, and we're going to mark this with a T for our top because that's going to be important later. So this is where I'm going to put my holes for installing my signatures. And I'm taking my hidden spine piece, and actually let's do it this way because this is how we're going to install our signatures. I think you know what? No, we're going to do it this way because I can actually see where I'm putting it so that we make sure we have it in the right spot. And I'm going to just take a clip to hold this in place. And I'm going to grab my mouse pad and my awl, which seems to, oh no, there it is. And I'm going to poke holes. So So there we go. We've got our holes poked into our spine, and I'm just going to go through and make sure, because with the black fabric it's a little hard to see where the holes are. Make sure they come through nice and easy. We can see where we are. Now I'm also going to use this to poke the holes into my signatures. Grab the first signature over and make sure everything's where you want it to be. Double check that you've got everything in the order you want it in. Any short pages, adjust their location as needed. That one I want to center a little better. Same with this page because it's a shorter page. All right, I'm gonna grab my clamps to clamp my pages together. It's not in all the way. Let's fix that. And I just remembered there was one more thing I wanted to do to the center page, so let me go get what I need for that. And oof, that is not, this is the problem I end up having with having pages that aren't all the same size. Trying to get them all lined up right. All right, let's clamp these. I'm gonna go get what I need to do the last thing I wanted to do on this page, and I'll be back. Okay, after a good long while, I finally got my printer to print out what I wanted, which is this page again, and I cut the bottom piece off, and I'm gonna attach it on as a pocket. And I think I'm gonna ink the edges just to help point out that it is a pocket. And I'm gonna do it gently because I cut out bits, and I did cut off a few pieces that I thought were too thin and likely to cause problems with a pocket. And I'm just gonna use Vintage Photo. And I'm gonna pull over my centerpiece again. Line this up. Oops. I'm gonna line it up and fold to get our crease in. And now I am gonna glue down the sides and along the bottom and attach this to create a pocket in the middle. Line it up and glue it down. So there we go. That will be a pocket, and I don't need to like glue along here because once it's sewn in, that'll take care of itself. And I think what I'm also gonna do, since I had to print out the entire page, I went ahead and cut the top section off And I think I'm going to attach it along here just as a decorative element. So let's just grab this page, set that to the side, and just glue this sucker down. I have a feeling the spots I glued first, because I took so long, are going to be dry and may need re-gluing. Got a little bit of overhang here. Let's trim that off. All right, so that's all done. Let's get our signature back together. And use our clamps again. I'm going to line up my template with my signature. I just realized we're going to kind of center it, and I'm going to mark because I cut this piece at 9, but my pages are 8.5. So if I mark where the top is, I'll have both signatures poked at the same spot, hopefully. And I'm gonna grab another clamp to hold that in place. And I'm gonna grab my bookbinding cradle. All right, let's stick our piece in and poke our holes using our awl. And I am going to, because I only have the 2 clamps, set this aside and stitch these onto this piece. Okay, I found my thread. I don't know what is going on this weekend, and I just realized I did not mark which side was the top on this and which was the bottom. So let's see which way the holes line up. All right, I think this is the top. Fingers crossed this is gonna work. I've got some wax thread in kind of a golden color, and I'm gonna thread that through. I'm gonna start at the middle and go through our middle hole, and let's see. Let's just check and make sure our holes line up. Versus, let's see, this way. And this has got to go like this, so let's see. Does it line up better? Forgot I needed to go through this side. This way. Do our holes line up? Nope. Let's flip it. Go this way. So now our holes, that one lines up perfect. That one's a little off. one lines up. Okay, we're gonna go this way. And I gotta go let a dog in. So let's just get this threaded on. And I'm trying an idea I saw from Natasha at Treasure Books. I'm leaving my thread on the spool so I won't have to worry about pulling it through the center hole, which believe me, I've done many times accidentally. So let's go up to our top hole. I'm gonna put it through this piece and then try and get it through all of these holes. Now this is where having it clamped invariably does not work for me. So I'm going to take that clamp off and thread the papers onto my needle, essentially. All right, let's pull some more thread through. So I can go all the way down to the bottom. Just checking to see how far through I am. All right, so I'm just, oh, there we go. We're almost all the way through. Sweet. All right, and back into this hole. And normally I start at the back, but I wasn't thinking and forgot and started with the front one. So that's what we're gonna go with. All right, whoops. Let's not get that tangled or that tangled. Let's go all the way through. And we need to give myself some more slack. So let's pull this thread, and I don't know how well this is coming out on screen. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Because yeah, installing the signatures is never the easiest part of this process for me. And let's rethread our needle. And we're gonna go back through the center. Now be careful when you're going back through that you don't split the thread that's already there, because then you won't be able to pull everything tight. So let's see if we can open this back up to the middle and kind of wiggle our way through. Hold it here. There. All right. And yep, this one's still moving freely, so we're all right. I did not split my thread for a change, because yeah, I tend to do that often. And my holes in the center always end up being huge. Like, I don't know why or how, and oof, I should have done the gluing. Oh, look. It's gonna come up. Excellent. So we can re-glue this pocket, because it's buckling a little. So, ooh, and ripping at the bottom. All right, that, we're gonna fix that in a minute. And I'm gonna do one knot, and then I usually, oh, and let's cut off our thread. At this point, we don't have to worry about losing it. I'm just gonna trim it down, because what I like to do is go under, under, and tie a knot. And I did pull this, yep, okay. And when you're pulling and doing your binding, you want to pull it tight enough that your signature is not going to wiggle around, but not so tight that you're ripping your pages. And under. Tie a knot, and then I can decide later if I'm going to add dangles or tie it in a bow or what I want to do with that. But there we go. Our first signature is attached to our spine piece. And I am going to do the same process for the second signature. And I'm thinking I'm going to do that off camera because it tends to go faster and easier when I do it off camera. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll come back when they're both attached in, and we'll attach this into our cover. Okay, so I got the second one attached, and goodness gracious, I don't know if it was good that I did this on screen because it worked much easier, or bad that I didn't do this one on screen because it would have gone easier if I had done it on screen, because for like the first time ever, the one I installed on screen went far smoother than the one I did off camera. So I've got both of the signatures attached to our spine piece, and we're gonna glue it in place. And I'm gonna use Fabri-Tac, and yeah, I am very much on the crafting struggle bus this weekend because I just went to refill my Fabri-Tac, and we're gonna get glue everywhere. And I thought I had the little protective seal piece off, and apparently not all the way because it went splooging out the side and made a big old mess. All right, I'm gonna hold up my side flaps of fabric so I can line up my two pieces of comic book board that served as my centerpiece of this, and just make sure it's in place and press it down. And it's gonna probably take a moment to grab, and I'm gonna grab my clamp. Ooh, gonna clamp down at the bottom first because that's closest to me, and then we're gonna grab this and clamp up at the top. And I'm just double checking to make sure everybody's still in the correct position because yeah, I've got a little bit of wiggle room. And I'm gonna clamp that in place. Ooh, and then ooh, my clamp down here came off. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue my fabric pieces into place on the front and back cover. So let's, ooh, that is not in the right position at all. This is not wanting to cooperate very much. Okay, let's hold this in place for a minute. Let's come through here and make sure they are pressed down good. We are lined up properly. Yes, yes, okay. All right, I think I'm gonna start back here and glue this fabric down. I think. Like, I don't have enough hands and arms. All right. Just start gluing it down and come back in a sec and add more glue. I'm gonna press my fabric into the gap I've got going on over here. Make sure that's pressed down good. Good. Just come back in again and just make sure we're pressed down into this gap here. I feel like got a spot that's not quite glued. Just trying to figure out where that might be and try and squish glue all along. All right, now we're gonna glue the fabric onto the back panel here. Glue all over my fingers. This is definitely turning out to be a bit messier than I anticipated. And right now I feel like I need to pull this back and just figure out why we're not gluing down like we should. I think we need more glue here. All right. Let's try this again. All right, let's flip over and do the front and fight with that. And I'm gonna turn it this way because I think that'll work better. And I think I need to add a little bit more glue because it's separating over here. Then I need to move these out of the way. We're gonna add glue down here. Head along there and press this into our gap and make sure it's glued down well, which right now I can't see a dang thing. So we're gonna flip this around. And again, I'm just gonna push this down into that space and try and get it to cooperate and do it neatly. We're gonna now try gluing this part down because I think we're good. Mostly, kind of, sort of. Yes. Oof. Got glue seepage going onto my mat. Oh boy. Let's glue the rest of the fabric down. Let's come back up like that and make sure. Why are we being difficult? I'm gonna let this sit for a little while so that it can dry all the way, and we'll double check and make sure everything's glued solid once it's all dry. Okay, so the glue is all dry, and so we've got our signature sewn in, and that's all good. This one seems a little stiff, but I think it's the amount of glue and it'll loosen up. So the only thing left, the only thing left to do today, and then I just want to glue this back down so that our center pocket's all nicely glued. So I'm just going to run glue along the bottom and up the side. Press that down. So we now have a pocket on this side and a pocket on this side. So I think that's where we're gonna leave it for today. I just need to fill this sucker up and add some kind of closure since it's popping up a little bit. Not shocking, given the way I make journals. This pocket is not, this side of the pocket is not cooperating. I think what we're gonna do is add the glue one more time. And do that. There we go. I think that's good, and I'll just take some scissors and trim that off. There we go. All right, so there we've got our signature sewn into this journal. And as I said, all that needs to happen is I need to fill all of the pockets, and this one will be done. So yeah, I've got to figure out what I need and what I've got and get the pockets filled, and then figure out what I need to make to finish filling pockets. And then this bee journal will be finished. And I've sewn the two of the other three journals, bee journals I've been working on, into their covers, so they're ready to just get all of the pockets filled. So I may do one more bee journal video where we are stuffing pockets and figuring out, doing the finishing touches. I have to decide if I'm going to add dangles to this. I have some beads, so I think I may add an eyelet to this, possibly to do a dangle down the side, or possibly something else. I don't know, haven't decided yet, but that's where we're at. And that is all for today. So if you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.